texture, you know, and I put paint over it. So we'll see what happens. Originally I was just going to clear coat it, but you know what? Clear coating is not going to stop the rays from dulling it or discoloring it. So I might as well just put paint on it. So I use some of that Rust-Oleum, you know, two-step paint primer, all-in-one spray can crap. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to attempt to get some of the lights off the back of the van today. Okay, this is where I'm at before the battery goes dead. They're not going to be sitting up like this. They're going to be laying flat. But I wanted to just get an idea on the measurements and where I'm going to drill the holes. So once I drill the holes, I can mount them in. I don't have to worry about it. Now these two, this one, I think it's this one. Yeah, only one side is working, so I gotta buy another set. But at least I have them for measurement wise. So put these over there. What is that? Oh, okay. Okay, guys. So what I had done was I took measurements so that they're even. So I got to drill a hole there. Got to drill a hole there. Another one there. Another one there. And another one there for the center. And that goes like that. And then once the holes are drilled, they'll fit down flush on that. Now, now all these will change the strobe effect. That's what all these extra wires are for. But I usually let them run. I let them run on their default. And they kind of like just catch up with one another, and there's no problems. So I don't use all these. I use two wires, the ground and the red. Boom, 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 boom. So that's what I use, the ground and the red. And as a rule, I usually run the ground right to the bar. But because I'm going to be putting this to the rain gutter, I don't know how good of a ground I'm actually going to get to it. So if I get a ground to it, fine, but I'm going to run the ground as well. I mean, I have the plug. I basically, you know, accounted for that ground to be into that plug, so why not use it through the plug, and I don't have to worry about it. This here way, if any rust builds up, you know, anywhere between here and the van, I still have the ground wire connected. And if this grounds out too, that's fine. But other than that, that's where I'm at. So I'm going to get this ready and put some holes in it. And I may or may not spray it one more time just to, once I cut the holes. I don't know. We'll see. I'll decide from there. Like, it's nothing I have to rush to get done. You follow me? I've got the other vehicle. So, and I don't need the rear lights on the other vehicle, as long as I got the front ones. So, alright, I'll be back. Here's the DeWalt acting up. The chuck locks up on them. Now I know I can be a little tough on tools at times. But come on, every tool. I know it's not me. So I gotta put pliers on it and jerk the shit out of it in order to get it out of there. Because the chuck, like I said, just locks up. Good battery, bad battery, doesn't make a difference. Charged battery, dead battery. It locks up, it locks up. And as tight as it is, it still won't hold the bit if you try to drill something. So, you know, sometimes buying what you would consider top shelf is not necessarily the way to go. But I do have to do though is I gotta buy some new bits. I mean, I have nothing in between. I either got real tiny or big. And I've got nothing in between for what I need it to be. Now what I was planning on doing is using some self-tappers. But the only ones I have had the big pan heads on them. So that's not going to work. Not on this one anyway. On the other ones it will, but not on this one. So, because these do work. You know, I just put a little sinkhole in there just to get them started. But believe it or not, these grab, and I usually put a little silicone on them when I throw them in there. And I never had any problems with them. Well, like I say, the ones that I have are not going to work because of the heads. Oh, no, wait a minute. Maybe this one. I may be able to get this one to work. Maybe not. Strong possibility, but I doubt it. Now, these aren't self-tappers, but that would be the good size. But even though I put that little hole in there, this won't do it. And if I had a longer one with a pan head on it, I'd probably be able to make that one work. But I don't. Alright, there we are. Now those are just set on default. You just hook up power. I didn't make any programming changes with the yellow wire. If I was to take the yellow wire on each one, well, first of all, the two ends, I would tie the yellows together. And if I connect them to the ground, they will change the pattern. Alright, and the same with the blue. If I take the yellow and hit the ground with it, it'll change the pattern. But I just let it run default because they run back and forth and change their own thing when they want anyway. So it's not a big deal. They're being seen. That's all that counts. So that's it. Now, there's two more that I have to put in. I gotta put one here, a white one, and a white one there. Now once I get those two white ones in, those will strobe like the white ones on here, and the white and red. They'll do the same thing, but they're all white. But I will hook up the yellow wire because when I switch the switch to the yellow to ground it off, it'll turn them on as a constant, and I can use them as backups as well. You know, like a backup light. And then when I flip the switch and hit the ground again, in other words, every time I hit it with a momentary, I'd be going click, click, click basically to ground, and that would change the pattern. So I got to order the white ones because one of them is bad. Only half of it lights, and there's no sense me even bothering it. So I'll keep the other one as a spare, and the one that's half of it lights, I'll find something to do with it. But for now, I may even just use that as an indoor light inside, you know, the van if I need it. But we'll see what happens. Not a big deal. But there we are. We are working. Doodah day. Let me disconnect the power before we all go spot blind. Okay. And what I did here, I don't know if you've noticed it or not. Why I have it on the cardboard is I don't want to scratch it all up. But what I did in the front, I have some of that draw liner on the roll. Well, I just cut a strip from here all the way down. And this here way, it's just one big weather seal. And then I put a little E6000 on it when I squished them in. So you can see a little bit of shininess every now and then. That's because it's just the E6000 just kind of curing in place. Kind of like just to give them a little extra holding power. Alright, so that's done. Now I just got to figure out which one of these I'm going to use, if I'm going to use either one. I have this wire here that I can use as a trunk. So this will fit either one. It's just that it's going to be an awful hard time trying to run this wire. And there's a lot of wire in here I don't need. I don't need these two shielded wires right here, 1 and 2. I keep the yellow, and I would keep the little skinny green just to have in case I want to hook up something that's there. These I would all run as power, so that gives me 6 power leads if I need them, and the common ground. We've got a shield over here that I can use off to a chassis ground if need be, but these I really don't need, and I'm not going to just pull those out of there, because if those wasn't there, this would be a little bit less bulky.